everyone, and welcome back to the ASMBartender. I know it's been a little while, so it's really good to be back with you guys. I have this new bar set up here that I'm really excited to break in. And today we've got our shaker here, but we're not going to be using this. We're not going to be using this for today's video. You'll see why in a little bit. Well, you probably know from the title of the video. But first things first, let's take a look at a couple new things that I got to stock up this bar so far. And by a few things, I only really mean one thing, and that is this VHS tape of the movie Cocktail starring Tom Cruise. Now, this movie is all about a guy that bartends, and it has the song Kokomo by the Beach Boys in it, and really that's all I really remember about this movie. But I found it at a Goodwill, and I thought it would be kind of the best way to break in the new bar is to add a little bit of a lo-fi element, and maybe someday we'll watch the tape and make some of the cocktails that he made in this tape. But for now, let's just put it aside, and we'll get to that maybe in a future video, but we've got it here on the bar. Also, by the way, just wanted to check to see if you guys like this soft speaking version that I'm trying out instead of whispering. I'm just trying it for the first time, I think, so feel free to tell me if you like this or prefer me to whisper, or if you want to mix both. Yeah, open to recommendations. So for today's video, we're actually bringing back something that we have done before, and that is beer flights. It's a pretty, simple video concept that I thought would be a good, comeback option for us here. I can actually see the last beers that we tried, and the last time we did a beer flights video written down still here on this little chalkboard thing, because I haven't broken this out since then, so I'm really excited to get a chance to try a few more beers, try them out on this little slab, so to speak. Follow me on Untapped, I guess, when we try out these beers and rank them. I'm not sponsored by Untapped or anything. However, if Untapped is looking for an ASMR YouTuber to collab with, I could be your guy, so email me Untapped if you're interested. And of course, if we're going to be doing this beer flight again, can't forget the chalk. We got some Crayola chalk here, so we can write down the name of each one of the beers on the little chalkboard down there. So got some chalk, Crayola chalk, solid, consistent color in a strong stick that resists breaking. Luckily, I was able to source some new chalk because the chalk that came with the board all broke apart. And I'm trying to get it open here. Here we go. There we go. Some brand new chalk. Let's try, see how it writes. Perfect. Works like chalk. Let's get to the beers. Here we have it, our little crate of 4 beers to try, courtesy of Total Wine and More. Also, not sponsored by them, but maybe someday we'll find out. But yeah, they put it in a little crate for me, as you can hear the liquids there. But yeah, really excited to try 4 brand new beers. I selected them from the premium, it was like a premium beer selection, where you can get the individual cans rather than just buying a 6-pack, because buying 4 6-packs for the sake of trying one was not the most economical way to do this. So looking forward to trying a few of these. Yeah, let's get started. Alright, so the first beer that we're trying out, this is called Magic Window West Coast IPA. I kind of liked the colors on this can specifically, which is why I decided to go with it. It is from Bergen Beer Company. So Burgeon Beer Company, like Burgeon Beer Company. Oh, it's like a collab between Harland and Burgeon Beer Company. Magic Window West Coast IPA. India Pale Ale, 6.8% ABV. And it's a pint glass, or it's a pint can. Let's see what the back of the can says here. So a Harland and Burgeon Beer Co. collab. Hops, Simcoe, Chinook, Nelson, NZ Cascade. I don't know what any of that means, so if any of you know in the comments what those hops are, please tell me. It'll probably improve my beer knowledge. Harland Brewing Co. is from San Diego, California. It says a labor of beer. A labor of beer instead of a labor of love. It says Harland, embodying the spirit of rolling up your sleeves to get the job done. Keep cold and enjoy fresh. Alright, well that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to try this Harland and Burgeon Beer Company Magic Window West Coast IPA. Okay, time to see if this truly is a labor of beer. Let's crack it open. Whew. Did you hear that? Gotta let it settle down a little bit. There we go. Let me get this cleaned up really quick. Alright, we're all cleaned up. Let's try the pour. Got a lot of head on that. Not sure if you can hear those sizzles. Let that settle 1 second. In the meantime, while we're letting it settle, we can write our first beer on the chalkboard. It is a IPA. Alright, we've let that settle a bit. Let's continue the pour. There we are. The first of the 4 beers, the IPA, the West Coast IPA, 6.7%. But we've got to taste it next. We've got to see where it ranks as far as the 4 beers go. It is the first one we're trying, so we'll see how things go. I usually love a good IPA, so this one might end up being my favorite, but we'll see. Cheers. Clink. Oh, that's pretty good. It's interesting. It's like it's got a little bit of a lightness to it, but then it kind of gets a little bit bolder as you sip and as you swallow. So I really did enjoy that. I thought that one was pretty good, but we'll see how it compares to the other beers that we have to try. Let me try one more sip. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I would definitely order that at like a brewery. It feels like a little bit of like a summer day on a patio. So Harlan and Burgeon Beer Company, they know what they're doing when they're making summer beers for us. Magic Window West Coast IPA. We'll have to put that down on Untapped. I don't know why I keep mentioning Untapped. So here is the next beer that we are going to try. It is called Buzzer Beater. Let's get some more info on Buzzer Beater. So Buzzer Beater is from Prairie Artisan Ales. It says Buzzer Beater is a sour ale with natural flavors and FD&C Blue number 1. Gently agitate can before opening. I don't know what gently agitate means. Maybe a little bit of this. There's a little, there's some really cool art on this one. So it's like a basketball player, like, trying to throw a buzzer beater. And it says kiss cam up here. There's a little kiss cam in an interesting little score bug. And the score is 67-68 in this basketball game. Oh, and you can see the coach getting the Gatorade or the water dumped on him. So that's pretty funny. That's kind of the reason why I picked this one up. Not only because it's a sour, but also because I really enjoyed the art, and that's kind of why I chose. That's kind of why I chose all of these, is I liked the art on the cans. But let's write on our little blackboard here before we taste this next one. So let's write sour. Sour. I wrote it a little big though. Okay, now we've gently agitated the can, so now it is time to crack it open. Ooh, it smells really good. Whoa. Okay, I knew it had coloring in it, but I didn't realize it was gonna be that color. That's it's like an alien green. What is that? Is it gonna taste like the color green? I don't even know what the color green tastes like. This is wild. I don't know how this is gonna follow up after the IPA. I don't know if that was the right order to try them in. I guess bottoms up. Cheers. Whoa, okay. That is that is a sour. Alright. Oh man, that has a kick to it. It's like it's I don't know how to describe it. It's like it kind of like boom, like woof, like all the flavors right off the bat. And it's been a while since I've had a sour. I don't drink them religiously. I have maybe one every summer or something like that, but oh man, it's like a tart. It really kind of kicks you with flavor, and so do I think it follows up the IPA well? Not necessarily. It might be good on its own. Oh, whoa, yeah. Wow. You really have to like take a break after sipping that. That is crazy. It's good, but I wouldn't. We didn't do out of 10 for the IPA. Let me try the IPA again and do it rating out of 10. That's so different. That's so different. Going back to the IPA is like crazy. It honestly kind of makes the IPA taste a little less bold. It kind of makes it feel a little bit flatter after having the sour. So I'm glad that I didn't do the IPA after the sour, but you know, it definitely kind of changes the flavor profile of the IPA. I'm not sure that this is going to be the best flight I've ever put together. I'm going to be perfectly honest there. But yeah, IPA, I would say probably, you know, it's respectable. I would say maybe a 7 out of 10. This sour, man, let me go back in. Oh, you know, after a couple sips, you kind of get used to it. This sour, I wouldn't be sipping these all day. So I'm gonna call it like a 5 out of 10. It's good for what it is, but what it is not something that I necessarily want to be drinking all the time. So, I mean, it's wild. That color though, that's insane. That's crazy. So I was just looking at my last 2 beers and I realized that I bought 2 sours. So I'm thinking the proper order should probably be doing the non-sour next and then going back to another sour rather than having 2 sours in a row. I didn't think that I bought 2 sours. I thought one of them was a lager, but I just looked at the cans and I am wrong about that. So the next one we're going to do is a milk stout, which I also think is going to be a terrible follow-up drink from the sour. We'll find out, I guess. This stout is called Dark as Day Horchata Golden Milk Stout. So you can see that there. This is from Embolden Beer Company. It is another pint size can, and it is 6% ABV. It says Embolden Beer Company Darkest Day is a collaboration with South Norte. So it might be another like two brewery kind of collab beer. Which is interesting because I did pick up all these beers from a section of Total Wine that said like specialty releases. So that means that these might be beers that aren't, very often sold. And this is also brewed and canned in San Diego, California, which is really interesting. So yeah, here is a look at the milk stout. That vaguely says stout. Alright, so let's see how this stout follows up from the crazy sour. Like I said, IPA 7 out of 10. Sour was a 5 out of 10 for me personally. Let's try out the stout. Whoa. Another one that's kind of exploding a bit. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, that's really interesting because stouts are usually darker beers, and it's also interesting because the name of the beer is Darkest Day. And so I was this is another one where I'm thrown off by the color of the beer. I was expecting a dark brown or a black, but this is not that. So let's see if it tastes like a traditional stout, given that. Oh, it does. It does taste like a stout. Not a very strong stout, I would say. It kind of tastes a little bit just like if you took a Guinness and made it a little bit more of like a milky stout. But Guinness is very light, and Guinness is very, like there's not a really strong taste to it, and that's kind of what this feels like as well. It's just got a little bit more of that nitro milk stout kind of energy to it. Yeah, I mean it's a little watery, honestly. It comes across a little bit watery because it doesn't really have that bold of a flavor. It doesn't really feel like it's trying to do a whole lot, but at the same time, that kind of gives it kind of a weird identity where I'm not really sure what it is trying to do. So I'm gonna give that a 6 out of 10. I would be able to sip it, but it's not, it's not very memorable. It's not really, it's not got a lot going for it, in my opinion. It kind of tastes a little bit watery to me, and especially after doing the sour, I feel like if you go from the sour to the stout, it's going to taste even more watery, and maybe that's maybe it kind of already has affected me a little bit because I just had the sour, and we're going to go back to another sour, so I'm really curious to see how this flight turns out because the flavors are kind of all over the place. Some are extremely bold, and some don't really have a lot going on, in my opinion. So let's try the last one. Alright, so the final beer, as I mentioned, is another sour, and it's actually from the same brewing company as the first sour, so it might have, that kind of intense same flavor. Prairie Artisan Ales. This one is called Sweet Heat. It says it is a sour ale with watermelon, strawberry, and natural watermelon, jalapeno, and coconut cream flavors, which is really interesting. that's a lot of really bold flavors, so I'm curious to see how this will turn out here. The art on this can shows like a tiger with some watermelons and strawberries and jalapenos and all that. If you can see that there, that's funny. And then he's got it all in the bag. And then there is another tiger driving a car, I think. Can you see that? Not sure. But yeah, that's really interesting. It's brewed and packaged by Krebs Brewing Company, McAlester, Oklahoma. Very interesting. Not like the San Diego ones. But yeah, let's see how this sour differs. Oh, before we forget, let's do the chalkboard. Sour number 2. Alright, now that we've chalkboarded it up, time to crack open the last beer. Here we go, let's see that color. This one's got a normal color. Very interesting. The three of the beers almost look the same on the flight here. Oops, I did this backward. Alright, and there we have it, our 4 beers. But let me try this sour, see how it compares to the other one. Oh, wow. This one I would definitely drink a lot more than the original sour. This one, you know, you can really taste the fruity, the kind of watermelon flavors in there. I get a tinge of that jalapeno at the end. It's not like spicy, it's just that you get a little bit of that extra kick from the jalapeno that's a little bit different from the watermelon flavor. But this flavor profile seems like more controlled. It seems like it's not trying to punch you in the face like this first sour did. This one, I would say, you know, for a sour, I would give it more of a 7 out of 10. So more in line with what I felt about the IPA. I think, you know, for an IPA, this one's a 7 out of 10. For a sour, this one's a 7 out of 10. I'd still probably drink the IPA more often because I'm more of an IPA fan. But if it's, you know, a hot summer day, you're at the beach or you're on a patio, you know, this kind of sour might be the way to go. Yeah, it's good. I would say it's good. That all said, the true test of any beer flight is trying all 4 of the beers in a row. So let's do that now, and I'll kind of document what the transition between each one is like. So let's start with the IPA. Still very good, still 7 out of 10. I would say, you know, a great way to kind of kick back, you know, with a beer. It's got a very kind of traditional IPA flavor, not trying to do too much, but it's nothing special. But follow that up with this sour, and that's where things get a little crazy. Oh man, every time. It's gonna take me a while to finish this, this glass in particular. Every time, that one really kicks you. And I'm not sure if I've got much of a palate cleanser going into this stout now, but let's see how it follows up. Okay, honestly, I kind of feel like drinking them back to back like that brought out some of the flavors in the stout. I actually kind of liked it better this time, which is really odd. I was not expecting that. I was expecting the sour to make the stout taste like flatter, but it didn't. It honestly kind of brought out some of the flavors. So you know, not bad. Maybe follow up your sours with stouts. Finally, one more sour. Oh, that's good. That one does kind of feel like a good ender. Like it feels like a good one to leave things off on, because it's fruity, it's fun, it's not trying to do too much, it's not overpowering. It really is just kind of a relaxed kind of stout. So I really liked that one. Maybe even boosted up to it's a relaxed kind of sour. I really like that one, maybe even boosted up to an 8. But that was really good. Do I feel like I chose the best beers in the world? No. Do I feel like these were, really specialty releases that you couldn't find anything like them anywhere else? Also, no. They're pretty fine for what they are, but I wouldn't go out of your way, looking for one of these if you're a big beer connoisseur. You can find more special beers elsewhere. So I guess that's it. I guess that's it for our first video back here on the ASMBartender. Please do expect more cocktail videos. I just wanted to kind of start with something a little bit simpler. We're going to get back to cocktails. We're going to get back to, TV-inspired, anime-inspired, video game-inspired drinks as well. But yeah, this is just kind of like the beginning, hoping to do a lot more videos from here on out. If you have any recommendations for any types of cocktails you'd like to see, or any themed cocktails that you'd really like to see as well, feel free to drop those in the comments below, and feel free to hit that subscribe button if you are interested in seeing more. But yeah, have a great rest of your night. Enjoy a beer if you enjoy doing that. And yeah, we'll see you back next time on the ASMBartender. Hope to see you there.